So good morning students. In the today's lecture we will talk about the random assignment scheme. In the previous one we have studied about the fixed assignment scheme in which we have to divide the resources in terms of the frequency as well as time as well as the code division multiple access and assign a channel to the users in order to transmit the data. But in the today's lecture we will learn about the random assignment scheme. As the name indicates, we have to assign the channel to the user in the random fashion. This channel access mechanism is not used in the real time because in the real time there are so many number of users. So if you allot the channel to the users in the random fashion, then it will be produce so many problems and the drawbacks over the medium. So as the name indicates, everybody owns a chance, means all are free to take the channel by its own choice. So there are 3 to 4 schemes under this category that you already studied in the computer networks course that is taught by the Nishat ma'am. So the types of scheme is concluded under this category is Aloha. Then second one is called the slotted Aloha. Then CSMA for the ordinary purpose. Then CSMA CD for the Ethernet and the CSMA CA for the wireless medium. So CSMA CA is one of the solution for the hidden terminal problem as well as the exposed terminal problem. So what is the first one? That is called the Aloha. So aloha, the basic definition or not the definition, the basic meaning of the aloha is welcome. So welcome means everybody has free to enter into the room or enter in any place. So just like the aloha says that welcome, so aloha main theme is don't wait. If you want to resource that, kindly take the resource and use a transmission. That is the only focus and the only theme behind the aloha. So the Aloha scheme is developed by the University of Hawaii. It is a very simplex type of communication, and because there is no so much rules over there, and it is a very initial reservation based scheme without any rules and the regulations. So it is called the pure Aloha. So the theme of this Aloha scheme is if anyone wants to transmit the data, just it has to begin the transmit immediately without waiting and without looking anywhere in the medium. And the transmission has to be done by frame by frame. The reason is because we are working on the data link layer, and then data link layer, all of the things we have to do in the terms of frames only. So Aloha is designed for the wireless LAN basically, but it is also applicable for the shared medium. So in this, multiple stations can transmit the data at the same time, and hence it leads to collision and data being garbled. Why it is happened? Because when station want to transmit the data and it transmit immediately, so when the number of nodes are getting large and two stations want to transmit the data at the same time, then the collision may happen. It is very obvious. And check with every frame with destination whether a frame is arrived or not. So you can take the advantage of acknowledgement also, like by sending each frame you have to wait for the acknowledgement from the receiver. If the corresponding acknowledgement is received by the receiver, by the sender, then you can say my frame is successfully transmitted. And also, if the drawback of the Aloha is if the channel is so noisy and because of the collision, because of some any other reason, if your packet is getting dropped, then there is no scheme of retransmission like the stop and wait protocol does and selective repeat and reject does, that each time when the packet is dropping or corrupted, then the sender has to resend the data until its correct acknowledgement is not coming. But the Aloha scheme does not follow that rules. It has to transmit immediately. It does not have to wait for the acknowledgement also. And if the packet is get dropped or is not received by the receiver in any reason, then there is no provision provided by the Aloha scheme to retransmit the packet. So what is the problem regarding the Aloha scheme? It is very acceptable when the network is too small and the number of transmitters are very less. Then it will be a very useful scheme in terms of the communication. But it is not acceptable for the real time communication. It is worked only when your local communication, just like in your home environment. If you maintain some local ethernet, then you can use the Aloha scheme, because it is very easy to implement, as well as it is a cost friendly also. But if you have so many members in your home and they have to access the internet all over the time, just like in the current scenario happens, so this Aloha scheme will not work over there. If the number of transmitters are increasing, the collision is unavoidable and it becomes very unacceptable, and it is very inefficient for very high network. So when a station sends data, it waits for the acknowledgement. If the acknowledgement does not come within the allotted time, then the station waits for the random amount of time. But it is not the pure Aloha, it is becomes the slotted Aloha that we will see in the next slide. Because Aloha, pure Aloha having some drawbacks, that the retransmission of the packets is not there so efficient, as well as immediately assigning of the channel, and lot of collision happens in the medium. That's why the slotted Aloha scheme is arrived. And the theme of the slotted Aloha scheme is just like the TDMA, that is called the time division multiple access. So what happens in the time division multiple access, in which you have to divide the time into multiple slots, and you have to assign each slot to each user in order to transmit the data. So just like the slotted Aloha scheme does, in which the time is divided into multiple slots and each user has to be defined a particular slot timing, and the packet size should be restricted over there. So there is a maximum packet size around the Ethernet um, 1518, I think. Minimum transmission MTU size is restricted over there. So node can just transmit only at the beginning of the transmission. Beacon signal is employed for indication to beginning of the signal. So what is the meaning of that lines? If there is already a slotted timings and the allocation of that slotted timings to the user, then what is the meaning of that beacon signals over there? Actually, this is just like, can be understand as an alarm system. Suppose if I situate an alarm in my phone that okay, it 11 a.m. I have a class, and when my slot comes, automatically my mobile rings, and it has to tell me that you have a class in at 11 a.m. So just like the slotted Aloha scheme does, it utilize the beacon signal. So by using this beacon signal, it has to tell the users that this slot is yours and you can transmit the data at the beginning of the beginning or the starting of the slots. And also there are some another points, like in the pure Aloha there is no retransmission, but in the slotted Aloha there is a retransmission. If the packet is not arrived in the receiver, is received by the receiver successfully, or the packet is getting dropped in the between of the communication, then you can resend your packet. Just it has to wait for the random amount of time. This random amount of time is called the vulnerable time, and it is nothing but equal to the fast transmission time. So by using this vulnerable time, it has to calculate the throughput, and the maximum throughput for this slotted Aloha scheme is 0.368, because it has to retransmit the data, and the channel efficiency will getting higher in this case, and the feedbacks of the user is getting higher in this case. So that's why we get some throughput over there. It's not much throughput, but yes, we can get some throughput over there, and it has to wait for the random amount of time before transmission of the data. So when the packet is not arrived within this time interval, the user has to resend your data with the fast transmission timer. Then the CSMA. CSMA is a carrier sense multiple access. So there is no collision detection. Just it is has to follow some features of the slotted Aloha. So unlike the slotted Aloha, it does not follow that rule that we have to divide the time slots and assign the time slot to the user. Then user can transmit the data. In the CA/CMA scheme, what happens? The user has to wait for the particular amount of time. You can say as sometimes random as well as sometimes it is depends on the probability. So based on this probability theorem, the CSMA scheme, each user has to wait for the random amount of time and it has to sense the channel, whether the channel is ideal or not. So when the channel is not ideal, it has to again wait for the random amount of time and it has to again sense the channel. If the channel is ideal, then it has to it has to transmit the data towards the receiver. But there is a no collision detection over there. If suppose if a user wants to transmit the data, it senses the channel and the channel is ideal and it starts transmitting the data. But due to some glitches, if the collision happens over the medium, then what is the technique that the CA/CMA scheme detects the collision, that okay, the collision is detected, then now I have to wait for the random amount of time. So this type of feature is not utilized by the CSMA. Just the only feature or only thing you have to learn about the CSMA is it first has to senses the channel. If the channel is ideal, then it has to transmit the packet. That's it. So according to the modification, there are two types of the schemes over there in order to detect a collision. The first one is the CSMA CD and the second one is the CSMA CA. So in the CSMA CD, it is basically used in the Ethernet system and the wired network. But for the wireless network, we have to utilize the CSMA CA because the scenario and the communication environment of the wireless nature is so much different from the wired nature. And the number of nodes are not fixed over the wireless medium, but in the Ethernet, or you can say the wired Ethernet, we have already know about the number of nodes at the number of packets, the size of the packets. We already know about all these things, so the collision can be detected very easily. But in the wireless medium, it is not so much easy. So we jump to the reservation basis scheme. So in the reservation basis scheme, everybody owns a chance. Means you have to first make a reservation that I want to transmit the data, and for that thing I have to make a reservation for my channel. So like this type of strategy has to be utilized by the reservation basis scheme. It can be just understand like a train management system, train reservation system, that if you want to travel from one place to another place, then first you have to log into the IRCTC site and you have to book your seat. So that is called the reservation, such that you can freely and comfortably travel to your destined part without any interruption. So the delay can be one of the factor over the reservation basis scheme. Like suppose if anyone wants to transmit the data at the immediate manner, then it may get some delay because first it has to get the reservation of the channel, then particular slot reservation slot will assign to them, and after that the user can transmit the data. So again, it can be understood like a train system. Suppose for the emergency purpose, if you want to travel, then you have to go for the तत्काल. ऑल्सो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इमरजेंसी होती है तो क्या करते हैं, जस्ट हम रेलवे स्टेशन जाते हैं, जो कोई भी ट्रेन खड़ी होती है हम उस पर चढ़ जाते हैं एंड जस्ट प्रोसीड टुवर्ड्स द डेस्टिनेशन. So the reservation based scheme is actually called the MACA, that is called the multiple access collision avoidance, and it is uses basically two types of packets. The first one is the RTS, that is called ready to send, and the second one is the CTS, that is called the clear to send. So the meaning of ready to send is if user want to transmit the data to any particular node, that it has to first send the RTS signal, that is ready to send. It has to broadcast over the channel that look, I have a data and I want to transmit the data and I am ready to send. So that is my RTS packet. So kindly do not make any transmission whenever I make transmission. And when the particular receiver receives this RTS packet towards the particular user wants to transmit the data, the receiver sends the CTS signal that okay, I am free, you are allowed to transmit the data over me, and it will not engage to any other transmission besides of the first user. So like this way the reservation may happen and the collision may get avoided also. Other nodes must wait until the transmission is completed. So when the transmission is completed, again the procedure will follow step by step. That first the user has to transmit the RTS, and the sender has, the receiver has to send the CTS for the reservation. So after the RTS and CTS, the channel will be reserved between the sender and the receiver. The packet will be transmitted, and the thing that happens. So that is called the marker scheme. So in the RTS and CTS packet, what is the format? The first one is called the sender ID, and the second one is called the receiver ID, and the transmission time. So in this point, I mentioned that other nodes must wait until the data transmission is completed. So how can the other nodes will get to know that after how much time the data transmission between the sender and the receiver will get completed? So basically it depends on the packet. So when the packet is generated, means in the transmission time, so transmission time is spread over there. So after the expiration of the transmission time plus some threshold, other station can send RTS signal to its prospective receiver. So that is the format. Sender and the receiver ID, it has to be appended and it should be mandatory because the channel has to know that which entity wants to communication to whom entity and the transmission time. So as I told you that RTS and CTS, and again it is called the CSMACA, or sometimes it calls the MACA, that is MACA. So it is used to solve the problems of hidden terminal as well as the exposed terminal problem. So what happens in the hidden terminal, as I already delivered a lecture over this hidden terminal, but I revised just for your memory. So this is a radio range of A and this is a radio range of C. Radio range is nothing but the transmission range. Over this transmission range, A can see the stations as well as transmit the data, and over this transmission range, C can see the stations as well as transmit and receive the data over this node only. And B is the mediator, means B is on that position that is common to A and C. So B is the common to A and C. In this way, you can see there that A can send the data towards B and C can also send the data towards the B. So according to the RTS CTS, that is called the CSMACA, my scenario is station B wants to transmit to data to A. So in this case, B is the sender and A is the receiver. So B first has to send the RTS signal. Sorry, I think I'm wrong. A wants to transmit the data to B. So in this case, A has to send to data that is RTS signal to B, because RTS signals have a broadcasting nature, but in their case there is no node. So RTS packet will has to be broadcasted over the B. So when the B, that is the receiver, it receives the RTS signal, then it came to know, okay, A wants to transmit the data because in the packet there is a sender and the receiver ID. So from the receiver ID and the sender ID, it gets to know that A wants to transmit the data to me and I am currently not engaging to any transmission. So I can receive the transmission. So it has to send the CTS signal in the broadcasting manner. So the first CTS signal is sent to the A and again the CTS signal is also sent to the C. So this CTS signal tells to the node C that currently B is transmitting data or engaging a communication with the A, because in the packet there are these entities, sender and the receiver. So in the CTS packet, the C will get to know that A and B are engaging in the communication. So in that transmission time, I will not send any data towards B. If I will, then the collision will happen. So this is the prevention. We can avoid the collision. The collision detection system is not proposed over the wireless communication system because it is not possible and the research is ongoing. But yes, you can avoid the collision, and that is the mechanism. So once the CTS packet is sent towards the A will get a green flag that okay, I am free to transmit the data towards the B and the channel is ideal. So it has to send to data towards B successfully. So in this way, the hidden terminal problem is solved. So what happens in the hidden terminal problem, that A and C, both of them transmit the data towards B and the collision gets happen because A cannot see the station C and C cannot see the station A because the communication range is different. That's why. So this problem is solved by the hidden terminal problem is solved by the RT signal, that is called the CSMA CA. One second, students. So sorry for the interruption, but I want to send one message to the my group, that is project group, that is Shubham and Richa, that I want to conduct one meeting today because there's a lot of interruptions and lot of disturbance over there because the groups are changed and the topics will also get changed. So this will not be happen for the smooth conduction of the research. So I will allocate one meeting in the today. So I think the 4 p.m. will be good time for today. So that is the announcement. Yeah. And at the current time, again, the millions mail comes to me according regarding the group change, but actually he did not attach any file, so I can't see whether the group is changed or not. Okay. Then exposed terminal problem. So in the exposed terminal problem, actually this diagram is something messy. So in the exposed terminal problem, that is the radio range of A and this is the radio range of C. So there is a node D over there. In this diagram, there is nothing mentioning here, but suppose there is a node D and A wants to transmit the data to D and B wants to transmit to data to C because both of the communication range are differ. So if they wants to transmit the data or if they transmit data to its receiver, then the problem cannot happen. But in the case of CSMA protocols, that at once a channel wants to transmit the data, a user wants to transmit the data over the one channel, then none of the users are allowed to transmit the data. So that's why the improper channel utilization, or you can say the poor utilization of the channel, will take place. But this problem is solved again by the RTS CTS, that is called the CSMA CA. So again, suppose B wants to transmit the data to A and C wants to transmit it to data to some another node. So B has to send to the RTS in the broadcasting fashion, like the request to send and the request to send. And in this case, the C will get to know about the RTS packet, that the packet is transmitted over the is going to transmit it over the station in station B. So I am not in the communication range of A, so I will transmit the data to some another node called D. So because C is not involved in the communication with B, but A is involved with the communication with B, so A will send to the CTS towards B, and after getting the CTS, B will start the transmission, the packets towards A. So that is the problem that is called the exposed terminal problem is solved by the RTS CTS. So just by looking the packet contents, the node will get to understand that okay, the communication is performed by only this node, and I'm not under this category, I'm not under this range. So if in it case if I transmit the data towards some another node, then it will not get any problem, and there will be proper utilization of the channel. So that is all about the reservation based scheme. So there are some points that I have to uh, say over there. Like in the CSMA, I told you that it takes some probability feature in order to sense the channel. So what are that probability feature? So in order to their access modes, it is divided into three types. The first one is called the one persistent mode, second one is called the non-persistent, and the third one is called the P persistent. And there is also one category over there that is called the O persistent. So in the one persistent, the node senses the channel. If the channel is idle, then it has to send the data. Otherwise, if the channel is not idle, then the node has to continuously senses the channel again and again. So that's why it is called the one persistent. If it is continuously keeps on checking the medium for being ideal and transmit unconventionally with probability P. Then the non-persistent. In the non-persistent, the node senses the channel. If the channel is idle, then it has to send the data. Otherwise, if the channel is not idle, then it has to wait for the random amount of time. And this random amount of time is depend on the binary exponential algorithm that is already learned in your computer networks class. Then the P persistent. What is the P persistent? The P persistence is the users or the senders has to calculate the probability that the channel will not getting collided by using the 1 minus P probability, just like it is opposite to the 1 persistent. So it is widely used in the Wi-Fi and the packet radio system, that it has to wait for the particular time, and according to the probability P, it has to sense the channel. Then the O persistent. O persistent is superiority of the nodes, like which one is senior. जो भी senior होगा उसको पहला मतलब chance मिलेगा in order to transmit the data. So according to their superiority, as well as you can say the feedbacks, if a particular node having a very good feedback, उसका channel बहुत अच्छा है, वो बहुत अच्छे packet transmit करता है, so the priority will be given to that superior nodes. If the channel is idle, node waits for its time to start to send the data. So I think it is enough for today, because the PPT is over, as well as the topics for the unit 1 is also over, and I will start new topic by the coming week, so I will not start today.